What is going on, guys? Jack here and welcome back to another FPL video. Today I'm going to be giving you guys a quick overview of the 5 Liverpool defenders that I feel like most people are considering for their teams going into the new season. 3 of these I'm sure you've had in some of your drafts at various points. Liverpool have a very exciting team. Defenders look like they could offer great value for money. In this video I'm going to give you my perspective on the Liverpool defence going into the new year. Of course, if you do enjoy this video, do drop a like on it. If you want to check out my video from last week when we went through my team going into Game Week 1, check out the YouTube card in the top right corner to go and view that video. And yeah, let's get into this, shall we? So Liverpool this year have 3 of the top 10 most picked players in their defence when it comes to Fantasy Premier League. They are high in demand, and it is hardly surprising when you look at last season. Liverpool finishing second, they did score the second highest amount of goals in the Premier League with 89 goals scored. Their defence contributed over a third of those goals, both in goals scored and assists. And, well, defensively, they were top of the pile. Goals conceded only 22 and 21 clean sheets in that time. And paired with, of course, some very impressive numbers from last year, Liverpool's opening 5 matches and beyond, to be honest, for the Fantasy Premier League 2019-2020 season look extremely kind. They start the season off with a home tie against Norwich, Southampton away. Arsenal definitely the most difficult of these games, but at home Liverpool have performed well in recent years against the North London side, and capping off their first 5 games they've got Burnley away and Newcastle at home. When it comes to Liverpool players, there is one player who I am sure for a fact is going to be on the top of many people's lists. He is the most picked player in Fantasy Premier League at the time of recording with a 46% pick rate. It is Virgil van Dijk. He is going to be one of the first names on the team sheet for Liverpool throughout this season. Last year he was absolutely superb. He bagged 208 points, 4 goals scored, 4 assists, 20 clean sheets as well. A player who, as long as Liverpool are playing and he is fit, he will always be on that team sheet. If you want guaranteed points for a reasonably good value for money signing, I think he offers good value for money even at 6.5 million. I feel like for the majority of people he is a bit of a no-brainer, someone who people are just going to pick. Safe bet. Has a good goal threat as well, as we've seen from the goals scored and assists from last year, from headers and also just passing it on from set pieces. He's very good at nodding it down to teammates. Do I think that Van Dijk's great? I do. At £6.5 million, of course, he isn't going to come cheap. But at the same time, he was one of the top scorers last year. And yeah, if you haven't already, I do strongly recommend considering him for your side. Anyway, the next 2 players we're going to talk about are the 2 premium defensive options in FPL really this year, the 2 £7 million fullbacks for Liverpool. The first of these, of course, being Andy Robertson. He had a total score last year of 213 points, which was, if I'm not mistaken, the highest points total scored by a defender last year. He didn't get any goals, but he did get 12 assists as well as 21 clean sheets, and the left fullback also chipped in with 29 bonus points. And of course, Andy Robertson's partner in crime on the other side of the pitch is going to be Trent Alexander-Arnold. Last year, he bagged 185 points, scoring slightly lower than Andy Robertson. He did play fewer games, missed out on a few through injury. He got 1 goal in that season, 13 assists, 16 clean sheets, and 25 bonus points. And, well, we should talk about these 2 guys as a pairing, really, because I think for the majority of people, they're going to go with one or the other. So I want to give you a bit of, my perspective. So last season, as I mentioned, Trent Alexander-Arnold was injured for a little while. In terms of the minutes they played last year, Alexander-Arnold managed 2,460 compared to Andy Robertson's 3,216. But Alexander-Arnold, when he was fit, did play very regularly for Liverpool. He was occasionally subbed off in the dying stages of games, but it was beyond that critical 60-minute mark, which ensures he gets maximum points for the clean sheets. Andy Robertson, on the other hand, was very fit last year, didn't get a whole lot of injuries. Of the 2 players, Andy Robertson is probably least likely to be rotated out. Has been some talk that Joe Gomez might come in and play right back. I don't see that happening personally. I feel like Alexander-Arnold has the right back position to lose. I think Klopp, appreciates the fact he is only 20 years old. He is going to make mistakes here and there, but will stick with his man because he's proven last year that he is, a good enough right back to lead the Liverpool team. In terms of my opinion on these two players, I am going with the minority. I am going with Alexander-Arnold, who only has a pick rate of 26%. The reason that I'm going with Trent is, well, two reasons. I see a lot of people going for Andy Robertson, and I don't feel like there's a great deal of difference between the two players. But equally, during the Community Shield, Alexander-Arnold was on corner duty on both sides of the pitch. Last year, he would only take the outswingers, at least against Manchester City. Even with Shaqiri on the pitch, he was taking them, the in-swinging corners, out on the left-hand side, which was a little unusual. And if that does continue into the main Premier League season, could be taking twice as many corners. Liverpool have some fantastic headers of the ball in players like Van Dijk, and I do feel like he could, quite comfortably reach double figures for assists again this year. Whereas I feel like for Robertson, it's going to be a little bit more tricky from open play, and obviously he has set a very, very high standard for himself. Anyway, the two other players I want to talk about are going to be fighting it out for the centre-back position alongside Van Dijk. And to be honest, even going into this kind of game week now with a couple of days until our teams have to be locked in, I'm still not sure which of these guys I'm going to be going with. It will be one of them. Now, if you watched my video last time, it was Joel Matip who I was looking at. I really like the Cameroonian. Last year, he played a decent amount of games. He got 9 clean sheets, scored a goal, got 7 bonus points as well. And obviously, he is coming in at £5.5 million. His ownership sits at 1%. Obviously, in the Community Shield, he did not start the game. He came on for Joe Gomez. Well, he came on in Joe Gomez's position. He was then pushed out to right back. He did, of course, score last weekend. I do feel like between him and Joe Gomez that there isn't really an order in terms of the status quo settled on just yet. I do fear that Klopp is going to be leaning more towards Joe Gomez. Of course, I think both players will be given opportunities to prove themselves, and I will keenly be listening out for the press conferences. But for me personally, I was kind of expecting Matip to start the year. He was the top dog to end the year in terms of he started the Champions League finally. He looked very solid, and I do feel like it would be a little bit harsh on him if he was to miss out come the start of the season. Anyway, the other player, of course, we have to talk about is Joe Gomez, the over £5.5 million option. He's actually been selected by just shy of 2% of players, so that is 1% higher than Matip. I do wonder if that has swung a little bit with the recent Community Shield result. Last year he started the season very, very well. He ended up only scoring 55 points. He did get 7 clean sheets, though, in that time. He didn't get a whole lot of bonus points either. Didn't contribute with goals or assists. I do feel like Matip offers a little bit more in terms of aerial ability, but Joe Gomez, I feel like the reason he played in the Community Shield was partially out of respect for the likes of Raheem Sterling and Sané, who are very, very pacey. I do wonder if that trend will continue into the main season where maybe Matip starts against the likes of Norwich, and then come game week 3, we do see Joe Gomez come in to kind of help out, I guess, with the extremely pacey attackers that Arsenal do possess. That is one that I'd keep an eye on. Ultimately, I feel like both Joe Gomez and Matip are inevitable risks, but whichever one of them can hopefully nail down a regular starting position could represent really good value for money, and obviously be a bit of a differential when everyone else is perhaps punting on the likes of Van Dijk, and you're obviously freeing up a bit of money with one of the two cheaper options. Anyway, those are just my thoughts on the Liverpool's kind of defensive situation and in terms of the players available for the Fantasy Premier League Gameweek 1 and this season. For me personally, as I said, I've got Alexander-Arnold in my team. Because I'm going with 3 premium attackers, I feel like I'm almost tying myself into an issue where I have got to, unfortunately, take either Matip or Gomez rather than Van Dijk. I would love to be able to squeeze Van Dijk into the team somehow. I might still do a late panic change. I'd be curious to know which Liverpool defenders you are going with in your team and why. If you agree or disagree with anything that I've said in this video, or indeed you have any questions, feel free to leave them down in the comments. If you've got any video suggestions for stuff you would like to see me talk about in the next few weeks, please do leave them down in the comments. Thank you for watching, guys. Subscribe for more FPL content on the regular. And it is me, Jack, and I'll talk to you guys in a bit. I'm out.